Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
And welcome to How We Heard It. My name is Wayne Bledsoe, and this is
Chuck Campbell.
And we have John Baker, our fearless engineer.
I have some fear.
And we have a special guest today, my good friend Sneaky Pete Rizzo, who is a retired professor, a creator of great novelty songs and some songs that are not novelty songs, and also a scientist who is responsible for a great deal of research on the algae that causes red tides.
Holy cow.
Dinoflagellates.
Sounds like dinosaurs with gas, doesn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. They
Pete,
cause those blooms.
And the subject that we're handling today, appropriately enough, because one of the reasons is because Pete is here, is humor in music.
What? I thought we were talking about red tides. I studied red tides for hours to talk about red tides.
Well, Pete has explained what he discovered with dinoflagellates to me about 10 times. I never understand it, so we don't need to ask him to explain it here.
I understand it then,
because it's going to be above our heads. But I'll tell you real quick a little bit about how Pete and I became friends. He moved from College Station, Texas, when he retired from being a professor out there and teaching all sorts of folks. And he came here to Maryville, and he called me up for, I can't remember what you called me up for, Pete.
I wanted to make friends with the newspaper people, because I was new there. It was 2008.
Right.
And I called two people, and this was just referred to me. You call Steve Wildsmith, and you call Wayne Bledsoe. And it's the Daily Times and the Knoxville News Sentinel, and I did that. And I talked to both of them, and both of you people wrote stories about my history, and the songs and all that. And it Dr. Demento.
And you were on Dr. Demento how many times? Your songs?
23 songs on Dr. Demento.
It's pretty impressive. Dr. Demento, of course, was a syndicated radio show that ran from 1970 until fairly recently, I can't remember, maybe 10 years ago. It went off the air and went on straight onto the internet. But it was specialized on funny and novelty songs.
Right.
And it was very popular. It was great. And if you got a song on there, it was a big deal.
Right.
And that's where Weird Al Yankovic started, was he got his first song on the Dr. Demento show.
Well, I'd never heard of Dr. Demento. I've heard of Dr. Demento like my whole life, I think.
Right.
But I hadn't heard the show, but I did go onto YouTube, and the first songs that came up were, like Witch Doctor, and then Weird Al Yankovic, Eat It, and The Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun, Julie Brown.
Julie Brown,
I like her a lot. King Tut, Steve Martin, Fish Heads, Barnes and Barnes. So, and then They're Coming to Take Me Away. I have a long history with They're Coming to Take Me Away.
Napoleon the 14th.
Scared me to death. My older sister knew this song, and she used to sing it to me and terrify me with it. So.
Yeah, that song. We were Sneaky Pete in the Sequence in Gary, Indiana, and the drummer. That song was just one guy singing the song and beating on the drums.
Right.
I forgot his real name.
Right.
Jerry Samuels.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that rings a bell. But anyway, we would throw that in just as a novelty tune, and he would play it, and he was actually sing it. Ted Zapinski, drummer. Cool. Then we went back to our rock and roll stuff, which is mainly R&B and some funny songs.
Okay.
But Pete was in College Station. He kind of became a legend among all the students. And one of his students I was interviewing one day, which was Lyle Lovett. And Pete had said, yeah, he was in my biology class, and we used to trade nights at the College Station, Mr. Gaddy's.
Mr. Gaddy's, and then the Pelican's Wharf.
Yep.
Restaurant.
But I said to Lyle, well, one of your friends moved here recently, and he said, who? And I said, Pete Rizzo, and he goes, Professor Rizzo! And I immediately had to take down Lyle's email and make sure I had his cell phone down and get it to Pete so they could reconnect. And it was,
that's cool.
And every time that Lyle would come to town, Pete would be there, and he would get a shout out from the stage. And
Yeah, he always had good things to say about me.
oh yeah,
Dedicate songs to me.
yep,
And one of them I remember was White Man Lost in the Blues, because he said that's me. Because our R&B guys living in Gary, we always went to Chicago and
Right.
Calumet City and did the blues stuff.
Were you originally from Gary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised in Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
Worked in the steel mills to put myself through college,
Wow.
and that was challenging. Working
sure.
in the steel mills.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of student was Lyle Lovett?
He was a good student.
Okay.
Yeah, and he got a B in my class.
Okay.
And he was a journalism German major, double major.
Cool. Okay.
And the one thing I remember most about him is a school newspaper is called The Battalion. And this was before he really hit big time. He was pretty much big time, but he kept going up.
Right.
And so, this student in the battalion says, "What's the worst thing you remember about Texas A&M?" And he said, "Freshman biology." And so the next time I saw him, "Lyle, you got to be in the course. You're a journalism major. What's the problem?" And he says, "Well, Dr. Rizzo, that was the second time I took the course." So he was misdirected to my hardcore pre-meds, pre-dense biology majors.
Right.
He was misdirected in the previous course, and he flunked out because it was
Right.
too much
Right.
to compete with.
Right.
But he did good. He came and sat right in front, and I was playing at the Mr. Gaddy's, and I put it on the board, no brownie points, but here's where I'll be. And he'd come there early and sit there and take everything in, have a pizza and a soft drink, and that's how it started.
Cool.
And he was only 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 18 when he was writing those songs.
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
And he never forgot.
Yeah,
When did you start writing songs?
writing songs. Okay. They were instrumentals. Does that count?
Yes.
Okay.
Were they funny?
As much as I love vocals, yes.
Well, yeah, I know now
absolutely.
everything's vocals and and all that stuff. But I think probably around 1960, making up my own stuff, and the band was just called The Sequence, and it was two guitars and drums, no bass,
Okay.
and we would play things that were popular like the Ventures,
Okay.
and all these bands, and Guitar Boogie Shuffle, and it went well until the Beatles hit.
Oh.
And then we had to do vocals, and so
Right. Right.
then we had an organ player, Hammond B3 organ.
Okay.
Yeah, this was still in Gary, Ted Arndt. Now he lives in Georgetown, Texas, for half the year, and in Indiana for half the year. And guess what? Half the years. In the summer, he's in Indiana, right? And then and he remarried. Then it's Ted Arndt, and great organ player. He even did some backup vocals and stuff. Right. And we still go. He came to see me at my venue that I played at a week ago, called the 101, because it's on 101 South Texas Avenue, and it's an outside venue, so it's weather permitting.
Right.
But we had a good time doing that.
Well, our main topic was like humor in music, which is something you do, and like I've noticed with all artists, even today, the ones that do humor, it's not just humor. They do other music, generally speaking. What percentage would you say, or what would motivate you to do a humorous song in contrast to other work?
The humor stuff, I was always something like, not like other boys.
Right.
I was just a, funny and all that stuff,
Right.
just not just in music. And so when I started writing songs, there was humor in them.
Okay.
And it wasn't quite the same as the Dr. Demento Purple People Eater and all this, but it was different, but there was humor in it.
Right.
And my first song on Dr. Demento was called Rhinestones and Polar Bears.
Okay.
It was a polka because I'm half Polish, half Italian.
Okay.
The derogatory term is woplock. Wop and polak.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a story to interject. When I had Pete on my show, my late night show, I had him on many, many times. But one time I had this young group called Stonefish, and they had all just graduated high school. And so Pete plays his song, The Concept of Conception, which basically outlines sexual reproduction in song.
Right.
And it was so funny because these kids in the band, they were just like staring at him kind of in awe. And after he was done, one of them said, "God, I wish you'd been my science teacher."
Well, it was an educational song, and I actually wrote it in Tennessee when I lived here.
Yeah, but
Concept of Conception.
But so many of Pete's songs will have something to do with science.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he got a divorce.
They are educational, too.
You got
I
it
can't
right
help
what you
that.
know.
It was a teacher, college teacher.
Never
yeah.
miss the educational moment.
And he
Yeah.
when he got a divorce, that's actually one of my favorite albums of yours is around your divorce. I mean, I hate that it's, bad memories, but the songs are so good. We were backstage with Lyle one time, and Pete gave him the album, the divorce album, and Lyle looks at it and goes, "Oh, The Devil Wears Panties. I'm going to have to listen to this one."
I'm instantly intrigued. Yes.
That was actually, a real humorous song.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. Is like with humor. I mean, you deal with serious things by way of humor,
Yeah.
and to make it help you get through it.
Well, and that's the thing is that there are different kinds of humor, and there still are different kinds of humor, and some of it's parody, and some of it's absurdist, and some of it's just weaving truth and humor together.
And I maintain my humor is 100% non-vulgar.
Okay.
That's not true.
It is too. No, I do not do vulgar. There's no cuss words in it.
There's no cuss words, but I can think of some songs that I wouldn't play. That I did not play on the radio for a reason.
Well, double meaning things.
You have a lot of double entendres.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Well, it was I did a little. Unlike me, I did a little research.
I say that every week. This is so awesome. I can just sit back.
And
I don't
because
have to
I thought, okay, wonder what the earliest known
here we go.
funny song is.
That's
And
too
it goes
hard.
back to the Greeks. The
Okay.
songs that were in Aristophanes' plays. And then, that there were funny medieval songs, apparently, which I have not heard any of those. And then you get to Mozart, the most renowned composer maybe of all time. He wrote a song called "Lick My Ass."
Really?
Yes, he
No,
did.
that's vulgar.
That's
is
pretty
vulgar.
vulgar, yeah.
How did that get past Tipper Gore?
I don't know, but he actually wrote it, and you can hear it, and it's in German, but it's very vulgar and very funny.
Germans, yeah.
I mean, the lyrics are great, but then you get to then you start getting to soldier songs, because soldiers made up songs, to keep themselves amused
Right,
and
keep
occupied
their
during
sanity.
war.
Yeah.
And those songs have carried on through the years. I mean, the Bridge on the River Kwai music that we were singing when I was in elementary school, we sang a song called "Comet Will Make Your Mouth Turn Green." Did you?
Oh, I remember that. I remember. Yeah.
Will make your mouth turn green.
Comet tastes like Listerine. Comet will make you vomit.
I heard it different.
Vomit and vomit today.
No, it went like this. Cow shit will make the grass grow green. Horse shit will do the same damn thing. Isn't that the same song?
That's true.
It's the same melody for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the melody.
Look at that sign while we're talking. So
This
that doesn't
is
happen.
more aimed at Wayne.
It is aimed at me. But yeah, and that song, it turned out, because I thought, okay, where did that song come from? That was called, I looked it up, that was called Colonel Bogle's March, and it was written in 1914. That's where that tune comes from. And God knows how many times they've adapted it. But
Yeah.
it was still in the 60s and 70s. School kids were still singing it.
I think I learned it from that same older sister who tortured me with their coming to take me away.
Well, there you go. She was a very, good influence on you, Chuck.
I guess.
But then, I mean, you have all these songs that happened in the 40s. There's Roll Me Over and the Clover Do It Again.
Yeah.
And that was apparently, I mean, that goes back into the 1800s.
1800s, and I know when I was going to Indiana University, the sororities, they would sing that. Roll me over in the clover, roll me over, lay me down, do it again.
Yeah. And that was like, and then there's, silly songs that came up in the 40s, like Maresy Dotes and Dozy Dotes, but Little Lambs Eat Ivy, and the Three Little Fishes song.
I always liked that song.
Yeah, and that was Kay Kaiser, I think. And then you had Spike Jones come up in the big band
Spike.
era, and Spike Jones was like the craziest things. And he used, shoot off guns for part of the instrumentation. And then Homer and Jethro from Knoxville, who actually played with Spike Jones for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they became kind of the premier parodists of music for a little while, from the 40s to the 50s. And, it was sort of like Weird Al now, in that people would be honored that they parodied their songs. Like Patty Page's How Much Is That Dog in the Window?
Yeah.
They did How Much Is That Hound Dog in the Window? In the Winder. And then just tons of stuff. My favorite of them is a parody of The Girl from Ipanema, which is the gal from Possum Holler. Which,
okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic.
I thought you were going to hit that B-52 song where the girl from Ipanema goes to Greenland.
That's a good
I never
one.
heard that either.
That is a good one.
Man.
But that's the thing, is you had all these things, and back then you had some songs that got on the radio that were novelty songs or funny songs, and that lasted up until, fairly recently, maybe 20 years, fairly recently for me, 20 years ago or so.
Right.
That you had things that were just specifically meant to be funny.
Well, I've looked through the, like pop history, like from the 90s on into the 80s. And I do hear people like baby boomers and all who say, music's not funny anymore. And it's like, oh, it definitely is. I think I don't know if my perception's right from earlier days, but it seems like it was more compartmentalized in the past.
Right.
And now it's just messy, and comedy and humor just pops up in all different formats and all different ways, but there's not like an avenue for, novelty songs. But I think so many songs that still come out are what I would consider novelty songs, because they're humor based, and the music may but maybe not novelty songs the way, the old school novelty songs were. But how did novelty songs get out to the public in the past?
Well, back in the past, that's the interesting thing, is there were people who just traded records. Tom Lehrer, who did Poisoning Pigeons in the Park and all sorts of, funny, really funny and sick humor songs. I think he started in 48, but he became really popular in the 50s with, the advent of sick humor. He didn't get on the radio very much, but people found out and passed them around. Isn't that right, Pete? And that,
yeah,
what you remember? And then it
is, and he was always a popular person on the Dr. Demento show, and he had a good deal. He was a mathematician, and he taught at Harvard. And that's where I met him when I was doing the sabbatical. He taught at Harvard in the summer, and he taught in Santa Cruz, California, in the winter. Just they go where the climate draws you. And I met with him for about an hour and had this huge grand piano there, and we had a great talk, and talking about music and that, and being on the same top 5 of the Dr. Demento Funny 5 thing.
Okay,
but
he was a very interesting person, and
he became a math professor, right? He was a math.
He taught math.
Yeah.
And I said, "How did you get on Sesame Street?" And he says, "I sent them a tape."
Well, that's kind of an avenue too. I think that maybe children's music. Right. And I've reviewed children's music too in the past few decades. I've reviewed a lot of that, and I think one thing in ways that's adapted is, and this is just my perception because I don't really know how children's music got to kids back then. But now a lot of it is through movies and such, and the children's music makers, they're really putting a big effort in making it entertaining for adults, for their parents as well. So they're constantly balancing making things mainly educational for kids, which includes a lot of repetition and fun, but also trying to make it more savvy for the parents so they can tolerate hearing it over and over. But again, I don't know if children's music has been evolving.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But that's the case of one of the types of novelty songs we have today is when something like Baby Shark breaks over and everybody's singing Baby Shark. That was definitely a children's song to start with.
But back in the past, you also had these songs that were silly enough to be children's songs that little kids would like.
Right.
Go crazy, like the beep beep song. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Beep beep.
About
That's
the little
the name
car.
of it, I think.
Yeah, it's about a little Volkswagen that keeps passing everybody.
Okay.
And it's like it's a silly little song, but it became really popular. And it was like
Popular
a
with
kid
adults
song.
too, though.
What?
Beep beep was popular with adults.
Yeah, but it sounds like a kid's song.
Yeah, well, that's
it
the
does.
savvy way to do it. If you could do a song that's appealing and engaging for children, but doesn't just drive adults up the wall.
And like the Witch Doctor. I mean, that's another one where he uses, a funny sped up vocal.
Yeah.
That eep papa. That
Yeah, I don't think there are as many. One thing I will say that I think's changed. I don't think there. My perception is I don't think there are as many like kind of cartoonish voices now.
Right.
It's people are just using more regular voices.
But when they do like when T-Pain or somebody does the vocals that he does with the not the vocoder. What do you call the
Auto-tune.
Auto-tune.
Oh yeah, well,
I mean,
everything's animated on auto-tune.
Yeah. So it has that kind of quality of this is kind of a funny sounding voice.
But you would have songs break through more recently, like Barbie Girl by Aqua. That's very animated. The What Does the Fox Say? That's the Norwegian group, I believe. Elvis or YLVIS. They did all their voices and everything to it, so it can still make its way in. It's just, I think there may be more routes or avenues to get in because music's kind of everywhere now, and it's on, it's online, and it's streaming and satellite radio. If you're listening to that, and YouTube. And YouTube.
YouTube is, that's where I see so much funny stuff that I'd share with people, whereas before some of that stuff might get on the radio.
Right.
I think one of the challenges now is people can. There are a lot of things that people can't say for political correctness that are funny, but you can say more off-color things than you could. And back in the past, it would be funny to, this song is about to say a dirty word.
Oh, no, you just say the word now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like the song Shaving Cream by Benny Bell.
Right.
It's like every time you would get to something, it fell in a big vat of shaving cream.
Yeah.
The line before it ended in it.
Yeah, and it had to be a rhyme. And the same thing with
Bowser and Blue, Polka Dot Undies.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
And Sweet Violets is another song that is that way. And Sweet Violets goes back, I think, to the teens.
Okay.
It's a really, really old song. But Dinah Shore had a hit with it in like 1951. And it's just a little bit off color. You think she's going to say something dirty, and then she doesn't.
Well, and the thing is, there are still clean comedians. Yeah. There's still moderately clean comedians, and then there are just filthy as can be comedians. And again, that kind of reflects the different types of humor that people relate to.
Right.
And it can all go out there. So
there's
it's
a place
just a matter
for all
of finding what you like.
Yeah, that's the thing that's...
Because one thing I want to say before I forget, because the first thing I wrote down here was just music and laughter. I'm convinced music and laughter are two of the most basic human needs for just about everybody.
I agree totally.
And it's going to find its way to people either together or separately.
Right.
And music changes and what people laugh at changes. But it's a continuous path that people just need, to adapt.
When you laugh... this guy could probably tell us what chemicals are released when you laugh.
The endorphins are the main one. Dopa and that.
Dopamine.
And from a scientific point of view, music evolved before language.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Music did.
Yeah. And rhythm, we have rhythm from the moment we are alive.
Yeah.
We've got a drummer in our chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting that it used to be. Now you look for it, but I think you're right. It's all over the place in different ways. But we used to listen to everybody was kind of listening to mostly the same music and seeing the same TV shows and things.
Right.
And that's when you would have like a funny
Three
song.
channels on TV
Right.
and commercial radio.
Yeah, like Alan Sherman's Hello Mutta, Hello Fada, which became like a huge
Oh, yeah.
hit. And it was on television, it was on radio, they played it a lot on the radio. But now we don't all see the same thing or hear the same thing.
Even in the same house.
It's so fragmented now.
Yeah.
You may have, 2 parents and 3 kids, and they're all 5 watching something different.
Yeah, or listening to a
something
different, different music.
Yeah.
And I don't think radio itself even is that important anymore because
No.
we have so many different places to find it.
Right. I mean, I do have satellite radio because it has all these comedy channels. That's the primary seller to me. I listen to the pop hits now, and then I'll go through the 70s, 80s, whatever now and then. But there are a few comedy channels I have as my designated channels, default channels, just because I like to hear comedy probably as much as music.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to sports.
Well, but you also, and we were talking about this before we started the podcast tonight. You have like Stephen Lynch and Bo Burnham and Tim Minchin and all these other people, Garfunkel and Oates, who that's their thing is writing these really funny songs and sometimes really darkly funny songs.
Right.
Sometimes really, really inappropriate
I
funny
know.
songs.
Right. But some of them are just like the Garfunkel and Oates. It's these 2 women who sing, and they're just like they have a song called Sports, I think it is, or Sports Ball or whatever, and it's just this big goofy song, and they're singing kind of like in tandem, kind of like cheerleading sounds, and they're just talking about sports ball, go team, and it's just sort of people who don't care about sports just trying to be accommodating to it. And Bo Burnham, he had an All Eyes on Me song, but my favorite of his was what was it? White Woman's Instagram. Did you ever hear that?
No.
It's just it's beautiful. It's just and it's just about she's having a peppermint latte and showing off her new scarf from Christmas and be like White Woman's Instagram. So it's like social commentary. Not dirty, you
right?
Childish Gambino, we were talking about him,
and he's a
Andy
comedian.
Samberg and Lonely Island. That's some great stuff.
Yeah, it's funny as all get out.
And you can get all that now. A good outlet for that is, like for me, it's the comedy stations on Sirius.
Yeah, which are not regulated by the FCC because a lot of this stuff,
No.
the FCC would not
Clearly.
let
Right.
on the air.
Right.
Even though WAP got on the air, it's like
But they're also they're like some comedians like Fred Armisen, who's a drummer. He'll play drums and he'll even do a set about playing drums and what kind of drums there are. Dimitri Martin, he might have like a guitar playing in the background. Reggie Watts, he usually has music. You like Reggie?
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And it's just weird. It's just kind of that absurd stuff. So again, even among the comedians who use music, they use the music in different ways and they have different approaches at humor. So,
and one of the interesting things to me about the people who can actually make funny songs and things that are really funny musically is so much of the time they are way deeper than the people who just seem so serious. Loudon Wainwright III, his only hit was Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road. And there's nobody who cuts to his songs can be funny. There's these double entendres. But, man, he can just absolutely cut your heart out.
Yeah, he can.
And it's just, and sometimes it's one where you're laughing and it's just like, oh. Because it's just, he's so real. And he's talking about something that is very serious, but he's doing it in a funny way. Same thing Randy Newman does. He can be really funny, but he's talking about something that's deathly serious. As funny as he is, the only novelty song he probably wrote was Short People.
well, it seems like artists will do a song much like you did, Pete. It's like you'll have a lot of serious music or non-humorous music, and then you'll just deal in a humorous song now and then. And I think that artists, it's like, I looked and it's like, okay, is this a novelty song or a humorous song or not? And it's hard to tell if it's just like a joyful, uplifting song or if it's and I think what you have to do is just stop labeling, It's like,
right,
because that'll just really...
Semantics.
Right, exactly. And because I was thinking, like the Bangles Walk Like an Egyptian, serious group and everything. Then they did this goofy song and they had a little dance with it and everything. but all their other songs were more serious. And it's like, can you call that a novelty song? I even thought that you might even consider Taylor Swift's Shake It Off a novelty song in a way, because the song is constructed differently with the horns, and there's a lot of kind of chanting, and the lyrics are routinely funny throughout.
Yeah.
But it's Taylor Swift, and you can't ever say Taylor Swift did a novelty song, I guess.
Well, I think just the word novelty. I mean,
I was just getting ready to say that. I'm wondering what novelty song means.
I mean, I think it's good.
It's too old.
Yeah. I think it's gone now.
I think it's archaic, and it used to be a novelty, something new, novelty, and it doesn't really have to be a funny song. Novelty songs.
Right. Well,
all of the ones in the past when they did that were funny.
Right.
But now they're not. A novelty song has changed the definition, I think.
Well, to fit that thing, when I was listening to the Dr. Demento, there was a song called Dead Puppies.
Ogden Edsel.
I hated it.
It's horrible.
I hated it. I said, this is not funny.
Well, it is the way it was presented, it was funny, but it's the second most popular song ever on his show. The first is Fish Heads, and I used to do a dead animal trilogy where I do Fish Heads,
I like
dead,
the Fish
dead
Heads.
Puppies, and then Dead Skunk.
Okay.
Dead animal trilogy.
I'm just too much of it. I guess that's a tad of wokeness or whatever. It's like, wow, I just can't make fun of dead puppies.
Well,
I just can't buy into that.
Part of it is getting older. The older you get, the less funny things that really happen are.
Yeah.
And that's what I've discovered.
Once you've lost a few dogs, you can't.
It's hard.
A dog.
Yeah, that's true,
the
but it
hallway,
hits a sore spot. But this novelty stuff. Was a DJ in Beaumont, Texas, I forgot his real name, something Giles something, and he went as the Big Bopper.
Yeah,
and he had
J.P. Richardson.
J.P. Richardson, and the Jay was the Giles, but he had a side of a 45, and he had two novelty songs on there.
Right.
It was called "The Witch Doctor Meets the Purple People Eater." He had those, and the other side was Chantilly Lace, the B side. And that
wow,
starred him.
Yeah, well, he also wrote White Lightning, which you could consider a novelty song too, because I mean, it's a funny song.
Yeah, it's a funny song about getting drunk.
Yeah, especially the way George Jones does it. So, but it's funny. But go. You got something?
I was just going to talk some about my observations about where modern music is. But no, go ahead.
Well, I want to go back to something before we
come forward in time. Let's go back in time.
Yeah, let's go back in time.
Let's go back in time.
Because one of the things that we were talking about earlier is how we need this. It's like every genre of music, I think, has this funny stuff. And there were people. You think about how serious classical music fans are. You think about them as being so stern and don't mess with their music. Yeah, but then you had Victor Borge, who was playing this stuff. Most of it was like he would play a little piece of a classical thing, and he would be basically doing stand up on the piano.
Okay, and
then play some beautiful piece of classical music. And then you had Peter Schickele, who performed under the name P.D.Q. Bach, which I think we talked about once before.
You did.
And he would he knew everything about classical music. I think your phone's dinging there, Pete. You can turn it off. But he knew everything about classical music, and because he knew so much about it,
right?
The classical music people went along with him and thought it was hilarious. It's like Spinal Tap. All those guys were great musicians, and they loved this music.
Right.
But that's why they could make it so effectively funny.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, well, so tell me, was Kiss considered a novelty act?
No. They were they were considered shock rock at the time.
Okay.
And of course, I think we've talked about it. I was too old for Kiss. I was 2 years too old for Kiss when they hit.
I was too disinterested, I think.
Yeah. Well, you would have been the perfect age for Kiss, because you would have been in middle school.
Yeah, no.
First album I ever bought was Kiss Alive.
I can't tell you how many people I interviewed. It was like the first albums were Kiss.
And I was, middle school. And in the gatefold sleeve, they had a letter from each member of KISS, and like each one wrote from the perspective of like, you know, Peter Criss was a cat, and he said the shows have been perfect. You know, all these kinds of, and Ace Frehley was supposed to be from outer space, and you know, and I can't get used to Earth gravity. And then Gene Simmons was like, you know, he was a demon,
the blood demon,
and I believed that stuff.
Wow,
I thought it was real.
Well, you know, honestly, that was a precursor to boy bands, where each boy is a different kind. You know, you got the jock boy, and then the monkey-looking boy. And, you know, there's like everybody's a little different. I don't know if any were from space, but
well, but with the whole boy band thing, though, I mean, it goes back to the Beatles too, because they each had their own personality.
Yeah.
They
Who's
each
your
had their
favorite
own
Beatle?
fans. Yeah, and you know, Ringo was the sweet, kind of homely guy, you know, with the other three
Kinda
good-looking
homely.
guys. What?
I said kind of.
Oh, come on now. Not that bad looking. I love Ringo. But yeah, I mean, no, Kiss was not considered novelty. But they came after Alice Cooper.
Their visual is more novelty than their
Right.
music.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Their vision and their music was, I thought, okay. They've got a handful of great
I didn't
songs.
have any problems with it. I liked it. I never performed any of it.
Right.
But I did take my son Grant and one of his friends to Dallas to see them, and I was disappointed that they quit doing their makeup.
Oh.
Their
Okay.
makeup was gone, but they did put on one hell of a light show.
Okay.
Lasers, man.
Okay.
They were good, and they sounded good.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, they were definitely good musicians. You know, I know that.
Yeah, right.
So
But yeah, they were. I thought they were intentionally funny. I think they were intentionally sarcastic.
So like
sometimes.
the hair bands, the heavy metal bands that we've talked about periodically. What about those guys?
No, they're serious. I mean, the best
It's
thing.
so
the
hard
hair
to take that
bands?
serious.
I know.
Yeah, the heavy metal of like
Cinderella,
late 80s.
Poison.
Yeah, Warrant.
Oh, those. That,
When
yeah.
they all were in like pink spandex and you know
They all their hair
headbands
poofed all
and-
up.
Yeah, they wore more makeup than the women, and they had big teased out hair and all that stuff. It's like,
But the people who parody those guys, like Steel Panther,
Right.
Panther is hilarious because
right.
they.
You don't have to do much. I mean, that turns into a parody.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
easily.
all they had to do is change a few lyrics. The
Yeah.
music sounds just like a great hair metal band, and they're singing what those songs meant, rather than poetic lyrics. They're I don't want to talk about some of their lyrics. The funniest lyric right now, but yeah, look up Steel Panther and I can't think of the name of the song, but any of their stuff. The first one will come up when you look up Steel Panther. They're perfect hair metal bands. Just humorous.
Well, so I've looked at the evolution just from when I've been reviewing music,
Right.
and a little bit before, and I saw some trends that it was like, wow, there's more humor in music and like popular music than there used to be. And I was looking at the women, because today young women absolutely dominate the music scene, sales and,
Right.
and concerts and all of that stuff. And if you went all the way back to like the 80s, someone like Tiffany or Debbie Gibson, there was no humor in what they did.
Right.
You even fast forward to like the 90s, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, there was no humor in what they did. You look at these Gen Z women, and I think it started with Taylor Swift, because she's written a lot of great songs about breakups and everything, but she's always sliding. She's clever. She's a very clever woman, a very smart songwriter. And she's always sliding in sarcasm, and self-effacing comments, and then,
and dishumor.
and dishumor. Yeah.
And that's where it goes back to, I think, more than anything, is she is really clued into being funny by eviscerating people sometimes.
Yeah.
In the most with the most clever lyrics.
Yeah, with a little smile on her face,
Right.
And of course she's like in her mid-30s now. Now all these Gen Z women who are like early mid-20s, I talk about it all the time. But
Right.
when you look at Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter and Billie Eilish,
Lizzo.
and Lizzo, yeah, and then the big hit of this year, Chappell Roan. So much humor that all these women use. I mean, they'll do
Right.
serious songs too, but I mean, and it's like in all my reviewing and everything, I don't ever remember so much humor coming out of one group of performers.
Huh.
And so I don't know if Taylor Swift kind of kick-started that or whatever, but I mean, Olivia Rodrigo, she's funny all the time. Sabrina, they're all funny, and they're all in different ways, and it's all part of their personalities and everything, but they constantly rely on humor.
Yeah.
But then, even bigger thing that I think has helped pop culture with humor is hip-hop and the evolution of hip-hop. And even in the beginning of hip-hop, you had Public Enemy, Flavor Flav was like the comedian in the group.
Yeah.
You had Two Live Crew, Me So Horny. I know you remember that one.
Oh, yeah. I like
Tone
Luther.
Loc, and Funky Cold Medina and Wild Thing and all that.
And the really early one, Schoolie D, he was one of the first gangster rappers that got that label.
Yeah.
Stuff's hilarious.
Yeah. And of course, the Beastie Boys,
Right.
they were primarily humorous, Fight for Your Right to Party and all this. They did some stuff that was a little, what?
I was just about to add, they also had skits between songs on their albums. They'd have the little skit part, that would
and
set...
a lot of rap acts have done that.
Yeah.
Hip hop acts have done that.
Yeah, Outkast did it.
And then you move on up, and you get into the '90s with like Rump Shaker, Baby's Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Rump Shaker's Rex and Effect. You had Missy Elliott come about with Work It and Freak On, Get Your Freak On, and then Eminem also so much humor. I mean, like. He's serious and he's biting and all that stuff, but the humor, it just, he brands it and brands it and brands it. And like you were saying, the diss track culture of artists taking each other down. Eminem and Kanye were both big on that. And in 2024, the big diss track fight, which was diss, I don't know if it's diss and clapback tracks, but anyway, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, two of the most noteworthy, they're getting in their late 30s now, and they've been around for 15 years, and they still regress to like these high school boys just like trading jabs at each other. Sometimes it's serious, but it's always meant to be funny for the audience, even if it makes each other mad.
And some of that goes back to like to the Dirty Dozens, the You Mama jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even earlier than that, like Calypso songs, which like became popular here in the 40s and stuff, they would have like Calypso singers who went back and forth, like this track is dissing this one, this track's the other guy came back and dissed the other one back.
Well, I mean, that's part of the rap battles, too.
Yeah,
It's like you get people on stage and they just like dress each other down. They just go back and forth and back and forth. And then as far as vulgarity and everything, you've got Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion with WAP,
It's off the charts now.
And then Lil Nas X, very explicit.
But still kind of funny.
Yeah, but still
he played at Bonnaroo, and I had no idea anything about him.
Oh, wow. And that's how you
like
know.
him?
So welcome to that.
It was something.
So, yeah. So,
I don't think it was music made for me, but...
No, probably not. But...
it was a spectacle, though.
Yeah.
Very athletic.
Huh.
Yeah.
Just running all over the stage, flipping, and...
Yeah, I noticed there are a lot more artists just doing that randomly. I forget who it was I was watching the other day.
Staring at randomly what?
Just suddenly doing acrobatics in the middle of a song.
Oh.
Just flipping off the stage and then continuing to sing or rap or whatever. Azalea Banks, I don't know how well you know her, but oh, wow. She's got a song called 212. Being in the 212 New York City. Black Bear, he did Hot Girl Bummer. But anyway, there has always been a really strong humor element in hip-hop throughout, and it continues on.
But you mentioned Lizzo as a novelty song person.
I mentioned her as humor in her music.
There's humor in her music?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I never heard of
that.
Lizzo, but my son sent me something from Instagram about somebody pretending to be Lizzo with a fake python, and they used one of my songs.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, Lizzo is
it rhymes with Rizzo, but and it was from the Sneakaholics Anonymous thing. I only have two things going on Spotify, and it was I think it was funny because my son said that,
right?
And the song that they used was "Boner from His Piggy," which was a statement that he made when I'm telling him to get his ass to school and he was watching Sesame Street.
That seems kind of vulgar.
It's not.
He has no vulgar songs. Yeah, he's nothing vulgar. I guarantee you.
Boner
I
is
think
vulgar.
with your experience in R&B and everything, you would really be impressed. Lizzo has a very powerful, awesome voice and powerful, positive spirit and comedy. You know, she uses
Comedy
a lot of
too,
comedy.
okay.
Yeah, so she's definitely one of my favorite R&B singers to come along. There's a little bit of possible controversy about her, but I don't know how true it is.
Well, but, you know, it's funny because, I mean, it's a situation like in R&B music in the 50s or late 40s, early 50s, you had lots and lots of funny songs. You had people with double entendres like Wynonie Harris, who, you know, don't roll. That's Good Morning Judge and Don't Roll Those Bloodshot Eyes at Me and all those great songs.
She shakes like jelly, but jelly don't shake itself.
But you had all sorts of stuff like that in R&B and blues. And then when they tried to attract the white audiences with Motown and stuff, humor disappeared. There was hardly... I mean, Joe Tex is kind of the only standout with Skinny Legs and all, and a couple other songs that he did in the 60s.
Did he do...
I Gotcha! He did that one.
Oh, who did it? I Ain't Gonna Bump No More.
That's her. That's Joe
okay.
Tex. Yeah, he was.
All right.
He remained funny.
That was a flashback.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Joe. That was like his last hit. But Joe
Okay.
Tex was like a really
I got
funny
in at the
guy.
very end of the
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Tex.
And that's, you know, you remember that one. I remember Skinny Legs and All came out when I was like
remember
6
that.
years old, and it was on the radio.
Okay.
And it's like he's, you know, picking out people in the audience saying, "You coming in here? Don't you worry about your skinny legs. Don't worry about that man. He'll take you with your skinny legs."
Skinny legs and all.
And then he picks out different problems with people in the audience. And, you know, don't worry about, you know, the person you're with. They'll like you anyway, and if they don't, I will.
He would come to the Pelican's Wharf when Lyle
really?
and I were playing, yeah.
He
Because
was
he
funny.
lived in Texas.
Yeah, he was. I don't remember where he was
Yeah,
from in
he'd
Texas.
just
but
take
he
his whole family
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, he's great.
A group that nobody's mentioned yet, and I don't know that they're really overtly funny. They do have some funny songs, but I just think when you watch them perform live, you can just tell they just good humor, and that's NRBQ.
Oh yeah, NRBQ are great.
Just
And they do have
watching
funny
Terry,
songs.
watching Terry Adams play the piano. If that doesn't make you laugh, then I mean he's just a crazy man on the piano.
And then he'll walk around and play from the back of the piano.
Yeah,
He'll do
He just bangs on it with his fists sometimes. And,
But they do have a lot of funny songs. Howard Johnson's got his Hojo working.
yeah, and it was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. That's a great one.
No, it was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. That and
It's like he gets his girlfriend pregnant, but he's like, it was an accident. I didn't mean it.
but
Wasn't
he winds up
I
marrying.
like the empowered women. Let's counter that with like Doja Cat. Like I do her. I love her. She did the ethereal song "Say So," but her first big hit was what would be called a novelty song today for sure, and that's called "Moo."
Yeah.
And the whole point of the song, she dresses up like a cow, and she's got giant udders, and the whole song is like moo, 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 and she's going, "Bitch, I'm a cow, I'm a cow." And it's so all she's doing is like the men who have look at her only for her breasts. She's just singing a song for them, saying, "I'm just a cow then, and I'm a cow."
Oh, wow.
And it was like a big hit and weird hit. And then she turned around and she's like really lighting it up in you know, pop and R&B and hip hop. But just to know that women can be funny too and can slap right back at the guys.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you talked about Julie Brown, and I'm trying to think of some of the other. When we're talking about Garfunkel and Oates, I think they're one of the fun.
Garfinkel and Oates.
Is it Garfinkel? I thought it was Garfunkel.
It's Garfinkel.
Garfinkel.
Oh, I thought they were doing the like Simon and Garfunkel, just the Garfunkel. Is she Garfinkel?
Was this Garfunkel and Oates or something else?
I think it's Garfinkel
I think
and
it's
Oates.
Garfunkel.
No, I think it's
might be
Garfunkel.
Garfinkel. I don't know.
Yeah, it's but
Because that's
If only there were some way to find out.
yeah.
well, yeah.
Pete has a crush on Kate Micucci.
It's on my latest CD called No Hit Wonder. A crush on Kate Micucci.
Yeah.
Because that Micucci thing has sexual,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Yeah, we get
Yes.
it, but you don't say anything,
But-
vulgar or anything in your
But it
song.
wasn't vulgar.
I'm glad you're so clean.
I I stand corrected. It is Garfunkel.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but
because
they're-
I think they were taking the Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah,
and then
Hall
the
and
Oates
Oates.
from Hall.
Yeah, that's
so
what
they're
I-
taking
Simon
a
and Garfunkel.
secondary character
Yeah,
for each one.
that's what part of what was funny about
They
it.
said they just made it up out of thin air.
Yeah.
It sounds like that, you know.
I got a throwback to there was a band in the Pacific Northwest called Uncle Bonsai, which was two women and one man, and he of course had the high voice, much higher than they did.
That's great.
And they have an album called Boys Want Sex in the Morning, which is great start to finish. Boys Want Sex in the Morning, Cheerleaders on Drugs. These are great, hilarious songs, and it's a similar sort of a thing.
They're only borderline vulgar.
They're not vulgar at all.
Well, we've not talked about social media yet. I think we ought to because of what's happening to music and comedy on social media. Obviously, on Instagram, you've got people who are reinterpreting other people's songs, or they're just taking part of their song and making a video. And then, the same thing, you can post those on Instagram. Depends on whatever your favorite social media is, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Some of this stuff still goes out on Facebook because that's popular with Gen X, and then like you were saying, Wayne, about YouTube, how they take newscasts and stuff like that.
Oh, the Auto-Tune the News guys were hilarious there for a while. I mean, it was legitimate music.
Right.
The Bed Intruder song, man, I listen to that all the time. I love that song.
Right.
And it was just taken from a news report where they introduced this fella, or where they interview this fella, and he's telling, how to lock up your husbands, lock up your wives. They're raping everybody down here.
Yeah.
And he was great.
Yeah.
And he became a thing.
Yeah. And like I say, with TikTok, there are a lot of people who are just trying to be musicians, and it's so much easier to be in your bedroom and create a song and then post it to TikTok all by yourself and do your own video of yourself, maybe with someone running a camera or just not, just yourself. And you can even do a different video every other day and just keep posting them until one of them hits.
Yeah. Randy Rainbow is he's a perfect example of somebody that just started from nowhere.
Yeah.
And started doing these parodies that were political.
Yeah.
And everybody knows the guy now.
Yeah.
His autobiography just came out I think this year.
Cool.
Really funny stuff.
Well, the internet just can accelerate.
Everything moves faster now. Yeah. There's no going through ropes and all that stuff with labels and
it's just
corporations.
Rendered getting signed to a record label completely meaningless.
Irrelevant, yeah.
See, Pete, this is you need to get all your stuff out there because now is your time. You didn't know it. You're 84 years old, but now is your time.
83.9. My birthday's December 10th.
Okay, all right.
Rush
Okay,
me.
you're 80. But that was the thing is with Pete's music. I mean, it got passed all over Texas,
right?
And got up to people like me, and I played it on the radio, and they play it in Europe at these internet stations.
Well, I mean, things went viral then, just in a different route.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like back when you had radio, independent radio stations and everything. It could be, just a couple of markets in Florida or Texas or whatever, and then it just somebody in California hears it, and then someone, so it was just a different way of going viral.
Yeah, but now there's tons of opportunity, and I think it's great, and people need to meet. We need funny music really bad right now.
We do, and like I say, the younger generations who don't think the older ones were funny don't know what they were listening to, and the older generations that don't think the young people aren't funny aren't listening to what they're doing either, because there's always been a universal need for humor.
Yeah. And
it may take a different shape, and it may not seem as funny in context, but everybody needs that.
Well, and the big thing now is, back a while back, Frank Zappa was a very, very serious musician, but didn't get taken seriously a lot of times because he was so funny.
Right.
And that was, I used to interview folks like Ween and different bands like that, where it's like, you guys are writing serious, good songs, but people aren't taking them seriously because they're funny. And I think there's a lot of people who still have that attitude that just because it's funny, it's not serious music.
Right.
And, the Mozart example ought to be perfect, a perfect example for people. It's like, you can be the most serious musician in the world and still be funny. and it should be, and it's still legitimate music.
Right.
Now, I still keep my funny songs. I take them seriously.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're somebody that writes, I mean, like the Doomsday Song, it's a little bit funny, but not too much. But, I mean, I like your serious stuff as much as I like your funny stuff, sometimes more. But there's always an element of humor in it, no matter what. And that's what I like about so many of my favorite artists. You know, people think about Leonard Cohen being so serious. Some of his lyrics are really funny and intended to be funny. I mean, it's like, you know, it's dark as it is. Kill another fetus now. We don't like babies anyhow. It's like it's really intended to be humorous, even though it's dark.
Right.
Because he's
I know,
making
and
fun
Dead
of
Puppies
everybody.
was too.
Well, Dead Puppies.
I just love puppies.
I know you do.
Puppies aren't supposed to die.
We're gonna have to do a show just on songs about pets and animals.
Pets and animals.
Yes.
Well, and Jane Seabury, okay, we talk about how heavy and deep she is and everything.
Yeah.
She has that song, Everything Reminds Me of My Dog.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like, just everything reminds me of the light on the traffic light reminds me of my dog. You know, the coffee girl reminds me of my dog. It's just like...
Was that a recent one?
No, it was before that Vigil album. I'm thinking...
what's the name of it? I know.
It wasn't the Walking album. It was the album before the Walking album.
Yeah, I did one called I Love You Because You Remind Me of My Dog.
Perfect. I think she even says something like, my dog reminds me of my dog.
Look at me with those big brown eyes.
Yeah.
That was
I can relate
decades
to
ago.
that.
Yeah, but she's somebody that you think of as being really serious.
Yeah.
But
And she just and she's very smart. And that's another thing I think that gets overlooked is some of the best humor comes from the smartest people.
yeah, for
You know?
sure.
And you just don't understand that. You expect dumb people to be the funny ones, and it's usually the brighter you are, the funnier you can be.
And sometimes and you and I both interviewed comedians.
Yep.
Sometimes comedians, when you interview them,
Oh.
boy, there's no laughs. They're serious.
No, they're the most serious people.
Yeah.
It just pins and needles every time I talk to a comedian.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, I've talked to so many, and every now and then one will actually crack a few jokes with you, but most of the time
Most of the
just
time, not at all.
totally serious.
Yeah. I'd just be nervous and just couldn't wait to get them off the phone. And then I would interview musicians, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, speaking of, Kiss, I mean, Gene Simmons is hilarious to talk to.
Oh, okay.
He'll
Never
tell you
talked to
jokes.
him.
Chet Atkins would always tell me jokes.
Okay.
And, Chet Atkins wrote a novelty song, or co-wrote a novelty song, Would Jesus Wear a Rolex? Because he hated televangelists. He hated evangelists, period. And nobody thinks about that.
I didn't get into electronica humor, but you just made me remember Lady Galore, who was the
God,
funniest person I've ever talked to. And she was like a singer for an electronica band from Belgium.
Yeah.
So who knew?
Yeah. But that's part of it is, I mean, people who just think they're so serious, get some humor. I mean,
Right.
there's been certain artists that I thought, you would be so much better if you got a sense of humor and just played with it a little bit.
Just had a laugh.
Yeah. I mean, we both like XTC, and I think XTC have funny stuff. It's serious and dark, and negative as Andy Partridge can be in his songs. Sometimes he can be really funny.
10cc.
10cc were always funny. I mean, Godley and Cream in that band. I mean, there's a great album called How Dare You, which everybody ought to have because it's start to finish just insane, but funny and dark and gives you the creeps.
Well, I mean, in their biggest hit, I'm Not in Love, everybody takes it so seriously, like it's I'm not in love, and it's meant to be funny.
Yeah. I think people just need to lighten up and recognize it a little
Lighten up, people. Bottom line, lighten up.
bit. Yeah. And
Enjoy life.
and realize that humor can be a weapon, for social change and things like that. You make fun of somebody.
It can be a weapon, and it can be a defense mechanism.
Exactly.
So,
And, take it seriously because it's serious stuff, even though it's funny.
all right. Well,
Okay.
anyone got any more comments about the humor and music? Or
Keep the
anything?
humor.
What's that?
Keep the humor. Long live the humor.
Yes,
Really.
yes.
Ever so little,
Even Gen Z's keeping the humor. Now I don't know about these alpha kids. I don't know how they're going to turn out next, but so far it's alive and thriving. So
yeah, I think we'll have. We'll never not have humor until we die.
Right.
If we don't have
unless
anything,
things get really grim, but we won't talk about that.
Well, even if they get grim, humor's that sometimes just the
gallows
only way to
humor.
survive.
That may be all we
humor
have.
will be
But
popular.
we'll have that.
Right.
Well, do we want to move on to recommendations then?
Okay. Who wants to go?
I've got a couple.
Well, go ahead. You start.
What do you want me to start with? Music or?
Let's start with movies.
Start with movies.
Yeah, let's start.
Okay.
I have 2 movie recommendations.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the movie guy here.
Or visuals. Okay, so
These are movies.
Okay.
well, I've got a TV show, and it's a new TV show. It debuted in October on HBO, and it's called It's Florida Man.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
We saw part of it the other night, before
wow.
last week. We were laughing our asses
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I've gotten through the first 4 episodes, and the concept is so wonderful. It's about 25 minutes long, each episode is, and each episode has a new scenario, and it's like the premise is everybody knows what a Florida man is, and anytime, like in the newsroom, we knew, you'd always hear like, oh, wow, did you hear this guy, was arrested for having 200 grasshoppers and his girlfriend's,
Must be from Florida.
Yeah, everybody like, oh, it's a Florida man. Florida man did this, or sometimes Florida woman did that, And so what they've done, and Danny McBride is one of the producers, so that's cool.
He's genius.
Yeah, so it's going to have some magic there. But what they've done is they've taken little Florida man or Florida woman stories, and they've turned them into stories that the real people tell, and then actors reenact. And it's funny and just weird, and they are Florida man stories. The first one was a guy who wanted to go to the Bass Nectar show in Denver, and he was willing to do anything, and he got caught up in a really horrible, weird scenario. But he ended up falling in love with the girl who was going to help him do this thing. Mm-hmm. And that was played by Ego Nwodim. And then there's a great one that I know everyone will like. It's a guy, it's played by Simon Rex. But they have the real guy talking, like I say, and then Simon Rex is going out and doing the thing. And I don't know if I should tell you what. There's a thing that happens to him, but then it like enlightens him. I'm gonna give away a little bit of this, okay? Because I just have to. He's picking up trash and he's getting lost further and further in the woods, and he's in a strange area. He comes across a lake, and it's at night. And he goes swimming out in the lake, and he goes, "Oh, there's gators out here!" And sure enough, a gator bites him, takes off his arm.
Oh my God!
And then he said, and then I had a vision of my mama, my late mama, coming up over the lake, saying, "I had the gator take your arm to get a message to you that you've got to change your life." So he's talking about how much it changed his life and all that stuff. And there's one. I'll just give one more. And this is so Florida. Now I'm a former Florida man myself. I used to live there, so I feel like I've got some liberties here to trash my fellow Floridians. But anyway, it was this woman who played a mermaid at an amusement park or whatever. And there was a bunch of gals that played mermaids there. And then there was another mermaid that was like the queen bee mermaid. It was real nasty to everyone. It made everything toxic. And they were getting into it with each other. And then the nasty mermaid got fired. And the storytelling mermaid is played by Anna Faris.
Oh, good.
And so she's talking about, just by happenstance, the nasty mermaid ends up buying the house next door to her. And she moves in with her boyfriend, and they start doing these strange rituals, and she realizes the other mermaid is a witch. And they talk to the other mermaid, too, and she's saying, yeah, I was a witch, and yeah, I said all these bad things. And her boyfriend was a cop. And so the cop and the witch were doing these taunting ceremonies in the nude outside of and so the original good mermaid is like trying to put up cameras and no trespassing signs, and the cop is coming and taking them down. And anyway, it blows up into like a big flurry, and the sheriff's department gets involved and everything. And at the end, they talk to the original mermaid, and she said, "I'm moving out of Florida." And then they talk to the other mermaid and her boyfriend, and they're saying, "We're moving out of Florida." Then they go back to one of the regular mermaids that was also telling the story. She goes, "At Florida, you either got to stick it out or get out." So anyway, it's a great show. It's really funny. It's only like a 25-minute investment for each episode. And it's on, like I say, it's on HBO and Max streaming, and I think a lot of other streaming services.
Well, we watched the one that you didn't talk about, that the episode.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. It was, and I don't want to say anything about it.
Don't say anything about it.
It's just about a couple. It's just somebody wants a hookup, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
The most unusual couple you'll ever see.
And it was hilarious watching the real people talk.
Yeah.
And the actors. And that actor looked so familiar. I'm thinking it's one of the guys that was in Napoleon Dynamite, the uncle. That's what he looked like. I don't know
the one who
if
plays
Uncle
the
Rico.
Kentucky
Uncle
guy?
Rico. Yeah, that's what he looked like.
Okay, maybe.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't
But it was funny.
Okay.
Well,
but anyway, it's Florida Man, HBO, good humor, easy bites, a little racy, so don't, if you're watching it with your mom, she's got to appreciate the R ratings.
Yeah, it's
a little bit vulgar, so just be warned.
Well, I want to recommend a movie that Pete and I watched the other night, 1987. I'd never seen it before. It's called The Hidden. And it is the movie that Kyle MacLachlan made between Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks.
Okay.
It's a science fiction film, and I remember hearing about it. It didn't get a whole lot of love when it came out. I mean, it got some good critical, mentions, but it didn't stick around very long. But it is about an alien presence that can occupy other bodies of humans.
Okay.
And it's not a great movie. It's a great popcorn movie.
Okay.
It's like there's a certain quality to movies in the 80s that were just really entertaining, like Night of the Comet, and this director, Jack Shoulder, I think is his name, he did a movie called Alone in the Dark before this, which is equally entertaining. But this one is so much fun, and the action starts in the credits, and I'm not a big action movie guy, but from the credits, you're hooked. And the presence that can transfer from different bodies to different bodies is, I don't want to tell you anything about how it does it, what it looks like or anything, but it is really fun in a kind of a sick body horror way.
Okay, body horror.
But it's like, Kyle MacLachlan is great, and he's got a secret that you figure out really early, but you don't care about figuring out early. You just figure about how much fun this movie is. And it's got some shocks, and it's got some good scares, and it's got one of the best dog actors I've ever seen.
Okay. All right. I'm down for that.
Dogs.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But it's great. 1987, I saw Turner Classic Movies showed it not too long ago, and I'm sure you can find it.
I just saw the Faculty rerun. I think it was last night. Is it similar to that in any way, or?
A little, maybe.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away on this, but
I don't want to give too much away on either.
But the part of the thing that's so funny about the alien, what's so good about it, the alien loves. I mean, it just wants to do whatever crosses its mind to get pleasure. It loves sports cars and steals Ferraris regularly, and then kills anybody that gets in his way.
Okay.
Loves sex, loves everything.
Okay.
And
kind of a hero.
I'm not going to say those words. But there's an actor in it, a character actor that's just shown up in a couple of things that I've seen before, who is tremendous at being possessed. He is like the scariest eyes of just about anybody you've ever seen in a movie.
Okay.
And you're watching the whole time like, oh God, what is he going to do? Just because of the expression on his face.
Right.
But yeah, it's total fun.
Okay. I always like popcorn movies.
Okay, so I saw 2 movies this weekend.
Oh my God! Okay.
My
You're
wife,
not the movie
my
guy.
wife. I'm not a movie guy. I mean, I like movies, but my wife turned me onto this. It was developed from a YouTube phenomenon, went viral, and it's written and performed by a husband and wife couple. The wife is a comedian, and she voices the main character. And the movie is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Okay.
I couldn't figure that out looking at the previews.
I don't know how to describe it really.
Uh-huh.
It's stop action.
Yeah.
The main character is this thing that looks like a shell, and it has one eyeball that moves around, and that's the only expression it can make, and it can toddle around on its feet. And the female comedian voices Marcel with this sort of high, like, I don't know why, you know, and it's got this real strange delivery, but it is so sweet and so poignant, and it made me cry 2 or 3 times,
Wow.
and it's funny. Just go out and find out. I don't remember what streaming service it's on, but it was,
I think it was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah, I think so,
wasn't
too.
it may have been,
Yeah,
and it should have been, because
animated.
it's just amazing. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Okay.
And the other one that I watched last night, I think it's from 22 maybe. It's called Searching for Sugar Man.
Oh, yeah.
About a Detroit songwriter in the 60s who was very Dylan-like. His name was Rodrigo. And he recorded 2 albums that were very kind of Nick Drake, kind of Bob Dylan-y. Real good stuff, and it just went nowhere. And that was supposedly the end of it. But somehow some copies of it made their way to South Africa. And he became very, very, I mean, like worldwide popular in South Africa because the songs he sang, they were from the 60s, and they were themes of freedom and rebellion, and, you know, which were popular in the 60s. And then when they made it to South Africa, it was right during apartheid. And it became the calling, the music of apartheid. And no one in Africa had any information about him. There was nothing on any of his albums that said where he was or who he was or anything. And people started getting into, they just started looking through his lyrics, looking for any kind of reference to anything where they could find the guy. And eventually there was one mention in a song about driving over to Dearborn. And Dearborn, Michigan's right outside of Detroit. And they ended up finding him. And there were rumors all over the place that he, after the second album had failed, that he had shot himself in the head on stage, or that, you know, he had committed suicide. And turns out he's still around.
Yeah.
And they brought him over to Africa, and a string of concerts that were just mobbed, sold out, and he had never known any of his life.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story. Searching for Sugar Man.
Okay.
Worth your time.
All right. You want to go
Okay.
ahead and do a music
I
recommendation?
got one music recommendation. New album this year, just a couple weeks old. New album by Chuck Prophet. I don't know if you know
Okay.
Chuck Prophet.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
in
yeah.
Green on Red. Great songwriter, great guitar player, great singer. And it's a new album. It's only been out a couple of weeks. It's called Wake the Dead. Worth your time.
Okay.
Just want to add, actually, Sixto Rodriguez, I thought he died last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if... Yeah, I don't... Because they didn't mention that in the movies. And the movie came out before.
Yeah, the movie came out like years before.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
Go
died
with
last year.
Okay.
I remember seeing that in the news.
Oh, okay.
You got a music?
Well, actually, I want to recommend Pete. What is the name of the one that's on Spotify? The double album that you have on there,
The Demented album.
the Demented album, which is highly appropriate. If you've never heard Pete's music, it's very outsider. It's very good. It's very fun. And some of it's funny, and the stuff that is like not funny is really arresting. I used to play him on my radio show all the time, and everybody always loved it. And you know, it's great stuff. And you need to give him a check him out, because you can only find his CDs at his shows.
Okay.
And he's only playing in College Station these days.
See, we got to
Right.
get you circulating better than that.
I know. I tell myself that every morning, and then I forget about it every night. But the Demented album, it only has 21 of the songs that were played on the show, because it was done by CD Baby, and 2 of them were parodies.
Oh.
Green Booger was from CCR.
That's vulgar.
Was the Green River by CCR, and I
Yes.
forgot what the other one was. But they said you have to get permission, and I said, why don't we just not
Just
do
take 'em
those?
out.
Yeah, just take them out.
Yeah. Well, most of the stuff that he does is not parodies. It's just really funny songs. And, you know, selfless plug. We've written a couple of songs together, and it's always so much fun
Yeah,
to do
three of them
something
now.
with Pete. Yeah.
3 songs.
But you have how many albums? How many albums have you made now?
I'm working on number 34.
Oh, my God.
It's called Still Sneaking. It's done, but the graphics aren't ready yet.
That's fantastic.
Still
Yeah,
What an
sneaking.
inspiration.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
songwriter
awesome.
myself, so...
And he keeps going. It's so much fun that, you know, he'll send me something. He's always sending me demos, and it's like he'll send me 5 different versions of the song before he's got it the way he wants it. And you can always hear a little bit, things improve a little bit each time.
Well, a lot of them I send to you just to get your opinion,
Well, I know.
like a scout.
Yeah, well, I always give you the opinion. But it's fun stuff. Even the dark songs are fun.
All right.
So there's my recommendation this week.
All right. Well, I'm going to round this out with the Dandy Warhols, one of my favorite acts from. They got started in the '90s, kind of a little bit post grunge. They're one of those bands that sound like one of the best bands from Britain, but they're not from Britain. Right. They're from Portland, Oregon. In '97, they had a great album called The Dandy Warhols Come Down. Probably their best album, though, I would recommend for overall cohesiveness is Welcome to the Monkey House from 2003. But I wanted to bring out the Dandy Warhols Come Down because my favorite song of theirs is still, it was called Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth. And Courtney Taylor, he's the lead singer, he says he wrote it about his girlfriend who got hooked on heroin when he was on tour. And the band also, I think, attributed it to the Jamestown Massacre. But this is how you make a humor song, because the lyrics are just stuff like, I never thought you'd be a junkie because heroin is so passé.
Oh, I remember you loving that song.
And the video is great because all these people are done up like 80s kind of characters, which, again, this song came out in 97. And so 80s was kind of kitschy then, Mm-hmm. And so they came out and they're doing all these crazy dances and they're all in bright colors. And then you've got these three women who are just like in hypodermic needle costumes. And they come out, they're dancing around and doing the can-can, and they do like this whole circle thing doing the can-can. And anyway, the Dandy Warhols, Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth is the best song, but the best album doesn't have that song, and it's called Welcome to the Monkey House. And it's just a good flashback. I think it's one of those bands I always hear about a band, and at the time everyone's talking about them, and then you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, and they're only talking about a handful of the bands that you were hearing all about back then, So you'll get like 10 or 15% of the big bands from then are still known, and everybody's got their Nirvana t-shirts, but they don't know all these other acts. So I'm trying to bring them back out to people's attention.
Cool.
So that's that.
Good deal. Are we done?
Yeah. You got a joke? Anyone got a joke?
Not that I can tell on here.
Oh no, yeah, Wayne. We're gonna go out with it's a joke that Wayne would have a joke that we could put on the air here.
It's asking too much.
It's asking too much. Okay, so we'll go out jokeless. If you got any jokes for us, please write in to howweheardit@gmail.com and tell us your joke.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, art, culture, movies, whatever they want to talk about. How We Heard It was recorded in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Arbor Studio by John Baker. If you believe you've been abducted by aliens during the listening to this podcast, we take no responsibility for that. How We Heard It is a Tear Owl production, and if you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. Come on back next week and we'll have another show for you.